Frank Curzio is my guest now. He's the CEO of Curzio Research. He's also the host of Wall Street Unplugged, and you're a speaker here at the summit. Frank, good to have you on the show. It's good to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
it's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, it's great.
Now, I'm interested to know your thoughts because you think we're in a deflationary environment, and this could prove to bode well for gold.
Long term, I think. I mean, when we say deflationary environment, if you look at all the bills that you and I are paying, you see inflation. Whether it's your cell phone bill, whether it's your utility bill, but that's not what the Fed looks at. The Fed's looking at something called the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. More specifically, they leave out food and energy. It's called the PCE deflator. And if you look at that, there's 50%, nearly 50% of those components, which is recreation, it's rentals, it is showing deflationary trends, pricing coming down. We're seeing companies as well having trouble growing sales and growing earnings over the last 6 quarters. So it's more deflationary, and that has changed a little bit now that Trump's got elected because now everything's pro-growth U.S. and they're playing an inflationary environment. But I think we still could see deflation down the line, and that might be pretty good for gold because it'll keep lower interest rates, more stimulus.
So do you think we're going to come down another leg from here? Do you think support could be 1,200 then?
It could be a little bit less than that. Only because, I mean, if you listen to top people who've been following gold for 100 years, right? You really don't know what moves gold. Sometimes it's inflation, sometimes it's deflation, sometimes it's interest rates. But right now, especially since the credit crisis, there's one thing that you can take for certain is when you're looking at the price movement of gold, it's totally tied to the dollar. And right now we're seeing the dollar go higher and we're seeing gold go lower. It happened since 2011. With all these new policies, expectations of an inflationary environment, very good for the U.S. You're going to see the dollar go higher. You don't want to fight the trend. It's going to come down. It doesn't mean you should sell all your gold stocks. It's a great buying opportunity, but for the next 6 months, I'd be a little cautious.
Do you prefer the mining stocks or physical gold? Where would you be?
I would go into the mining stocks only because they've come down so hard, right? And that was a big surprise here being at the conference. Like, nobody really figured that out. They thought Trump would be great for gold. And I think you're providing great opportunities for so many different names. And you're seeing insiders come in and actually buy here, which is a positive sign as well.
It's interesting. More than Trump winning the presidency, I think the bigger surprise was everyone really thought it was going to push gold to 1,400. Now I know you see a possibility of $2,000 gold in the cards, but what would really need to happen for gold to get to that level?
I think uncertainty. When we see uncertainty, we saw Brexit, we saw how gold rose. That's why it was such a surprise with this uncertainty. But when you have, more important than Trump just being elected president, which is a surprise, the bigger surprise is that they control, it was a clean sweep. That means they control the House, they control the Senate, and it's a lot easier for Trump to get his policies passed a lot quicker, which is very important. But
he's also made it known that he will definitely change the Fed chair. So, you know, we'll probably see Yellen step down before that happens.
I don't know if she'll step down. It's an interesting point. Some people think she'll resign. The last time that happened was a long time ago with Volcker, and he basically stepped down and resigned 2 months before. Either way, she's up for re-election. It's in January 2018.
Right. So. Well, do you think we'll still see a rate hike in December?
That's where I think it's going to be good for gold, because we're going to see a lot of rate hikes. Everybody believes things are good. We are still seeing from the stimulus from TARP and the money being put in 2008, 2009, projects are not even complete yet from that. So to see so much happen and so much movement happen based on a possibility of, change in financials with Dodd-Frank or change in Obamacare, it's not going to happen for a very long time.
But you think the rate hikes would be good for gold?
Well, here's what's going to happen, I think. So the rate hikes, we're going to have a lot of rate hikes. That's what we're expecting right now. And I think when you're looking at deflationary pressures, underlying our economy is not as strong as we believe it is. So I think we're going to have a massive push to higher interest rates. It's going to be a huge mistake, and I think they're going to have to lower interest rates. I really believe that. And that's going to be good for gold, because it's not as good as everybody believes out there.
Your thoughts on silver?
I like silver. I like gold a little bit better here. We've seen a decline in everything. I think gold stocks in particular have really run up tremendously to valuations. And now that they've come down, even before Trump, they've come down even more. It's creating a good buying opportunity. A lot of like First Majestic Silver is one I like. Just Silver Wheaton as well.
Anything else you're liking besides the metals?
Besides the metals, I can give you a few stock picks where I do like Brazil.
Sure.
Brazil Resources I love. You want to buy guys who did great, build up their companies during the past bear market. So these guys are almost rooting for gold to come down. The guys like Amir Adnani, Nolan Watson for Sandstorm, they've built their companies up tremendously by having enough cash and that cash flow where they were able to buy great properties. Those are the guys you want to follow.
So for Brazil Resources, you think that there is a good story there?
It's a fantastic story. Amir's built 18 million ounce gold resources. He's done that in one of the worst environments ever. And if we see that go back in the next 6 months, now that they're cash, they have about 20 million in net cash. He's going to use a lot. He's one of the best deal makers. I think he's going to build that resources up to 20, 25, 30. So these are guys that actually like to see, if you're a long-term holder, it's not bad if gold prices come down because they're going to build up their asset base that much more. Long-term, you'll be sitting at a much higher stock price.
Frank Curzio, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching our coverage. We'll have much more for you, so be sure to stay tuned to Kitco.com. Thank you.
Thanks.